Hello, everyone. My name's Kenji Bunch, and I want to welcome you to tonight's episode of the Portland Social Distance Ensemble. I'm here with my buddies Greg Ewer and Ron Blessinger from 45th Parallel, and we're going to present some violin duos. They're going to play. I'm going to sit here and listen and tell you a little bit about them. These are some duos that I wrote for them, and part of a larger project. I'm trying to write 44 short violin duos. And the reason for that number is there's a very famous collection of 44 duos by the great composer Bela Bartok. And kind of in the spirit of those duos and as an homage to Bartok, I wanted to contribute my own set. And they're influenced, Bartok's works are influenced by his extensive work as an ethnomusicologist in Central and Eastern Europe. And so there's a lot of really interesting, unusual folk material. I thought it'd be kind of fun to do a sort of contemporary American version of that, using the influence of vernacular American styles into short duos for two violins that are approachable for students. This is some of the first ensemble playing that I experienced as a young violinist. My brother and I would play the Bartok duos together. And so I was mentioning this project idea it was just an idea a few years ago, and I mentioned it to Greg, and he said, well, how about you write some for 45th Parallel? So I did, and we're going to hear some of those now. The first one is influenced by bluegrass and folk American fiddling. So you'll see some bluegrass techniques, and actually Greg has his violin tuned differently. That's something that's pretty common among fiddlers, to retune their instruments. We don't see that much in classical music, but it's a pretty common thing to do for fiddlers. So we're going to start out with the first duo in the collection. It's called Dry County Line. First one I wrote. Now we're going to go to the most recent one that I wrote just earlier this spring. This was premiered by Greg and Ron in March. By the way, that's Greg retuning his instrument, because as you can hear, it was extremely tuned differently.
I had to tune down to an E, tune the G string down to an E on that first tune. During classical pieces, that's known as scordatura, and if you're in a bluegrass jam, it's, "Hey Buford, Hold on a second, I got to tune the fiddle down. This next tune is Wildflower.
Beautiful, guys. Thank you. So Wildflower was the most recent of the duos I've written. I wrote it earlier this spring for a concert that 45th Parallel gave at the beginning of March. And funny to think about that. I was supposed to attend that concert, but I got really sick. Not, that kind of sick, but I was sick. I ended up with pneumonia and whatever. But listening, it makes us think about that live concert experience, and of course that's all on hold now. But we're so lucky to have this platform where we can have these live experiences in this way. So once again, whether you're joining us on Facebook Live or on YouTube, this is the Portland Social Distance Ensemble. My name's Kenji Bunch. I'm the guy who wrote this music tonight. This is Greg Ewer and Ron Blessinger on violin, playing violin duos. And I should mention, if you're on YouTube, or even if you're not on YouTube, subscribe to the YouTube channel. There's a new concert every week. It's pretty amazing work that 45th Parallel does. And so be a subscriber, check it out, and it's just a really neat thing in the community and accessible worldwide. Now we're going to go to a song I wrote called Shave Ice. And for anyone who's been to Hawaii, you know what that treat is. Shave, it's a special machine that really thinly shaves ice, and you have all these flavored syrups, and it's just what you need on a warm day at the beach. And gosh, doesn't that sound good right now? So I was trying to write something that evoked ukuleles and island music. And so we're going to close your eyes if you want, just take a little virtual trip to Hawaii with shave ice. Now I think Greg's going to tell us about this next one.
This next tune is called Nightlight for Nina. And a few years ago, when 45th Parallel commissioned the first group of duos in Kenji's project, we were getting ready for the concert, and my daughter Nina was born. And for one of the rehearsals, Kenji came in, and we rehearsed. There's Nina, by the way.
Nina.
She is the one for whom this piece is
Nina.
named.
Hi, sweetie.
Anyway, we were rehearsing, and Kenji said, I have an extra duet for you, and it turns out it was this one, Nightlight for Nina, as a gift for us. Anyway, she was asleep at the time, and we walked into her room, and we played it for her. Clearly, she has no recollection, but I do have a recording of it somewhere. Anyway, this next tune is called Nightlight for Nina. One, two.
Oh, thanks, guys. So lovely to see Nina there, too. Again, if you're just joining us, this is the Portland Social Distance Ensemble. I'm Kenji Bunch. This is Greg Ewer and Ron Blessinger. And if you like what you're hearing, consider donating to 45th Parallel. There should be links at either Facebook Live or YouTube Live where you can do that. They're bringing these live events every Friday night to you, free of charge. So there's a place to donate. That'd be a great thing to do. And I should mention, none of this would be possible without the genius of Danny Rosenberg, who is the man behind the curtain who makes it all magically happen. I mean, this is actual musicians playing live with each other in real time, which is something that we're all itching to do, and this is a really neat way to be able to do that. And just to prove that we're live and we're musicians, I'm going to play something. So I'm a violist in addition to writing music. I'm not going to play something I wrote, though. I arranged this. It's an old song. It's called We Shall Overcome, and it's an arrangement I did. It's a traditional hymn that was turned into of course, a protest song, and you know we're not living in a vacuum here. We're acutely aware of what's going on, and just wanted to play something that supports the movement and in solidarity with people seeking equal justice. And in fact, I've been able with this arrangement. I distribute the music for no charge when people donate to Campaign Zero. Been able to raise over $1,000 for Campaign Zero, which works to end police violence. So that's been something neat to do. Anyway, this is We Shall Overcome for solo viola. Thank you. Okay, thanks. Now back to some violin duos. This next one is, as I mentioned earlier in the show, I wrote this collection of, I'm working on this collection of violin duos. I've written now 10 of them. I'm trying to get up to 44 in homage to Bela Bartok's collection of 44 duos. And just as Bartok was profoundly influenced by the music around him, the vernacular folk music around him, I'm trying to celebrate the vernacular in music in the Americas. And such a huge part of that music comes from the blues. And so this is the first of, I'm sure, what will end up being many songs. Actually, the next two are both blues-oriented songs. This next one they're going to play is called Blues Day, and I took it a step further with the Bartok influence. There's one of my favorite Bartok duos is called Lament, and it's a slow, very melancholy, very expressive, emotive piece. And I wanted to kind of do that, sort of a corollary to that, but with a blues influence. So here's Blues Day. Right on, that was Blues Day. And the next blues-influenced song is very different, but it also comes from the blues. It's called Diddley Bow. And to explain that title, a diddley bow was a makeshift instrument that enslaved African parents created for their children as toys. So they'd take a piece of wood and a wire, like some kind of wire, and maybe some kind of glass bottle or something as a bridge to create some tension on the string, pull it taut, and they'd pluck the string or come up with some kind of a bow and use a slide so it would sound like a slide guitar. And so it's just a one-string, very expressive, slidey instrument that I'm trying to evoke with this song called Diddley Bow. Okay, that was Ron and Greg with the Diddley Bow. Once again, this is the Portland Social Distance Ensemble, and we've got one more tune for you. These are violin duos that I wrote, and I'm very grateful to Greg Ewer, Ron Blessinger for playing them tonight. Very grateful to Danny Rosenberg, the mastermind behind this technology that allows us to present this concert live to you. And once again, these are coming at you every Friday night on either YouTube Live or Facebook Live. So subscribe to the YouTube channel, donate to 45th Parallel, and keep on listening, because we'll keep on making music for you. We're going to end with a duo that's maybe one of our favorites of the set so far. It could be the favorite. It's definitely one of the goofiest. It's called Melungeon Stew, and that word Melungeon refers to a small group of Americans who are descended from the Roma people of Europe. So for lack of a better term, they're what we call American gypsies. And so I thought I would evoke the style of gypsy jazz. We think of Django Reinhardt, Stefan Grappelli, that type of playing. And so it's a fun piece. I hope you enjoy it. And thanks again for listening tonight. This is called Melungeon Stew.
1, 2, ready, and.
All right. Thank you guys so much. Thanks everyone for listening. And I'm Kenji Bunch, great for Greg Ewer, Ron Blessinger, 45th Parallel.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers. Have a great weekend. See you next Friday.